Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. With a berth in the LEC championship at stake, two vaunted cross-state rivals take to the field for this evening's matchup and a chance at immortality. It's the Plymouth State Panthers and your UMass Boston Beacons in the semifinal round of the Little East Conference Tournament. That's up next right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Good evening and welcome to the BBN. I am John Skudris. A season rife with excitement and fueled by the blood, sweat, and tears of every single Beacons player has reached its penultimate moment tonight. At stake, a berth in the Little East Conference title game against Keene State. Few could have believed that UMass would be in this position just 1 month ago, following a 22-3 blasting at the hands of Keene. Tyler Lowe's club was feeling the blues, sitting at a dismal 4-7. However, the return of Calvin Lee and the continued growth of young goalie Alex Surrett helped propel UMass Boston to a 4-game winning streak. That run culminated in a 14-9 triumph over Southern Maine on Friday, clinching the number 2 seed and a first-round bye in this tournament. The Panthers of Plymouth's prowl towards this point came in a much different fashion. A dismal 2-4 march set the stage for an April to remember as the Cats reeled off 5 consecutive victories, including 3 in which they held their opponents to 7 goals or less. That surge, coupled with a late-season triumph over Southern Maine on Senior Day, gained Plymouth entry into this LEC tournament. In a rare but not unique event, the Panthers fell to Western Connecticut State in their season finale just 3 days before they had to play the Colonials in the first round of this tournament. In that rematch, Plymouth made the most of their second chance. A back-and-forth first half saw the Panthers trailing 8-7 after 30 minutes, but a pair of goals by Chris Waterbury, coupled with a game-winning goal by Mac Tetraw, helped propel the Panthers into Beaconville tonight. These two squads are, of course, familiar foes, with UMass edging Plymouth 11-7 on April 22nd. In the win, Robert Ranta recorded a career-high 8 ground balls and caused 4 turnovers to continue his stunningly stalwart freshman year. Unlike their game against WestCon, Plymouth's second half was one mired in collapse. Trailing 4-3 after 30 minutes, UMass relied on the goal-scoring prowess of the Arnold brothers to lead them back to victory. Croy, 2 goals and 1 assist, and Clay, 4 goals, powered the offense along with Josh Holmes and Calvin Lee. UMass will hope for more of the same out of this quartet, and they hope to mimic the past against the Plymouth State Panthers here this evening. Plenty of questions remain left to be answered, and they will be tonight. It's the Panthers and the Beacons right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Let's take a look at the pregame stats and a look on the season as we head into postseason play. You see there, Plymouth State actually outscoring UMass Boston almost by a full goal this season. However, they have given up 11.2 goals against per game compared to just 10.6 for UMass Boston. The big difference there is the success when they're a man up. The Panthers are scoring at almost a 25% clip compared to just 20% for UMass Boston. It is going to be absolutely critical that the Beacons avoid foolish penalties and stay out of man-up opportunities. One man who plays critically well almost all the time is senior Anthony Tortora. He has been a bastion of success from the midfield for Tyler Lowe's club, and he wraps up his career perhaps tonight with a loss, but we hope later on in this tournament. Anthony on the year in 15 games has 6 goals and 6 assists for 12 points. He had 2 goals last week against Southern Maine in a big UMass Boston victory. Well, we have a heck of an LEC semifinal coming on up, and you don't have to just take my word for it. The head coach of UMass Boston, Tyler Lowe, speaks about how critical this matchup against Plymouth State is as he previews this LEC semifinal here on the pregame show, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
For us, we didn't spend a ton of time celebrating, to be honest. Obviously, Friday night was very exciting for us to get that win over Southern Maine. But for us as coaches, we went right into the prep work. We really had 2 teams to prepare for, both Plymouth State and Western Connecticut, and then with an eye towards games beyond that. So for us, we definitely had a lot of prep work. So for us, we really look at this as having quite a few games left if we do the things we want to do, so there'll be time to celebrate later. Sure, we're definitely going to make some adjustments, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. I still think as a group we're yet to really put together a complete 60-minute effort. So that's really been the focus of practice for the last week or so, is making sure that we understand how much everything gets ratcheted up a notch once we get into the playoffs. So for us, it's very, very important that we're taking it 5 minutes at a time, but ultimately putting together a complete effort for as long as it takes tomorrow. Absolutely. For us, really on both sides of the ball, we talk a lot about guys picking up the slack for other guys when mistakes are made. So for us, to have balance on both sides of the ball has been incredibly important for us. It really makes us a more difficult team to prepare for. So for us, we're very, very excited with the group we have ready to go tomorrow night. Absolutely. He's done a great job so far. A lot of that's a testament to Chris St. George, who works primarily with the goalies on our coaching staff. He's done an unbelievable job with Chris coming from Plymouth State 2 years ago and being an all-conference goalie there. He definitely has an eye for what it takes to be successful in our conference. So I think a lot of that has been very, very helpful as far as preparing Surratt for the next steps. But he's really a guy who's willing to put in the work and has really earned everything he's gotten so far, and really a very, very fierce competitor. For us, defensively, it's really about just doing what we do. Guys like Matt Murphy, guys like Robbie Ranta, Jimmy Gannum, Jack Dillon have done an unbelievable job so far. And again, they're up to the challenge. They're motivated by the better offenses that we play, so we're really excited for the opportunity. For us, it's a mental game. It's making sure we're focused, making sure we're prepared, and really making sure guys understand that everything in the playoffs is ratcheted up a notch. So for us, really coming out ready to compete and really having the mental toughness, we're going to have a run. They're going to have a run, certainly. So making sure that we're able to weather that storm and come out on top.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I am John Skudris. A huge Little East Conference semifinal matchup set to be played between Plymouth State and UMass Boston. The winner of this game will take on the winner of the other nightcap in the LEC, and as you see, that one's all but decided. Keene State College continuing their blitzkrieg through the LEC, throughout the regular season and this tournament. They went 7-0 in the conference in 2017, and they are on their way to 8-0 with a 24-8 lead over visiting Eastern Connecticut State. What's ahead after this? Well, it's a big one. The winner of today's game advances to play Keene State, most likely, on Saturday, as they are the top remaining seed. So, barring a Herculean comeback in the final few minutes by EastCon, it's going to be either the Panthers or the Beacons taking on the Keene State Owls on Saturday for a chance to win the Little East Conference. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both of these squads. We begin with the visiting Plymouth State Panthers. In net, it's going to be number 2, the senior Jason LaRiviere. Also joining LaRiviere on the field, defenseman Sean Pete, a sophomore from Glen Cove, New York. Senior defenseman Tyler Hawley out of Jericho, Vermont. The attackers, Mac Tetrault, a senior out of New Durham, New Hampshire. Chris Waterbury, a sophomore from Clinton, Connecticut. Sam McCoy, a sophomore from Marriottsville, Maryland. Adam Haversat, a senior from Cape Elizabeth, Maine. Kyle Stockwell, a junior from Ballston Lake, New York. Nico Sorrentino, a senior from Chelmsford, Maine, and Nick Bath, number 42, a junior defenseman from Kennebunkport, Maine. For your UMass Boston Beacons, who else would it be between the pipes but number 15, Alex Surratt, the freshman from Melrose. Joining him defensively, number 4, Robert Ranta, a freshman from Newton, Massachusetts. Also joining Robert on the defensive core is Jim Gannum, the junior from Medfield, and Jack Dillon, the junior from Barrington, Rhode Island. Also on the field to begin, it'll be Calvin Lee, the senior from Hopkinton, Clay Arnold, a junior from Syracuse, and his brother Croy Arnold, also a junior. And, of course, the senior Anthony Tortora and the freshman Josh Holmes, as well as the face-off specialist Matt Murphy. Those are your starting lineups for both of these squads as both UMass Boston and Plymouth State shake hands at midfield as they get set for the opening face-off of this, the 2017 Little East Conference semifinal game between Plymouth State and UMass Boston. Fans of both teams in attendance here in what's become a bit of a chilly evening after what was a balmy afternoon here in Boston, Massachusetts. Unfortunately, that weather never lasts as we expect plenty of torrential rain on Friday and beyond here in New England. But we are all set for the opening face-off, and it's going to be taken here by Stockman and Murphy. The face-off is won there by Stockman, and Kyle gets it all the way back to his netminder, Jason LaRiviere, and that's where we begin. They play 4 15-minute quarters in collegiate lacrosse, and we are happy to have you with us as we get set to see who will take on Keene State in the LEC Championship on Saturday. Off the initial out-of-bounds play, it's Anthony Tortora with possession, and UMass Boston's senior midfielder slings this one forward and connects with his partner in crime, Conor Smith. Smith, a junior from Kingston, Massachusetts, one of those players who really contributes offensively off the bench. Another youngster with possession, Sam Matten, a freshman from Sturbridge. His minutes continue to rise as the season goes on. Tyler Lowe really relying on a lot of youngsters with Calvin Lee out for most of the year as there's a quick first snapshot there from Conor Smith high and wide as LaRiviere lets that one sail out of bounds. UMass Boston keeps possession as unable to field that one was Matten, and that's a bad turnover for the Beacons. Mac Tetrault going the other way. Tetrault, I mentioned, had a couple of goals in their victory against Westcon in round one. Tetrault drops this one back for number 39, Alex Croati, and they go far side. And great defensive play and an interception moving the other way. With possession of the ball, it is Murphy. Murphy slings it far side right in front, and a high-rising shot from Holmes is partially deflected by the netminder and wide. Boy, oh boy, a fine start for UMass Boston as they force the turnover and almost turn it into a goal the other way. Sam Matten gets the feed from Conor Smith, far side taken in there by Tortora. This is a prolific Beacons offense, the one that went through its lulls. Meanwhile, almost a tale of two seasons for Plymouth State, as they started out incredibly poor, 2-4 in the month of March before reeling off 6 straight in April and putting themselves in position to get to the postseason, which is where they are now. Calvin Lee with possession behind the net. He missed a lot of this season, his senior season, due to a knee injury. Glad to have him back. Having Calvin back gives the Beacons at least a glimmer of hope, even if they do have to take on a Keene team, if they win this, that they lost by 19 goals earlier on this year. But they did not have Calvin for that game. Both teams feeling each other out early as Ryan Geppert gives a nice little hack at Anthony Tortora. Tortora fakes the move to the left, comes back right, looking to come behind the net. Doesn't have an open lane. Instead, he has to defer back to Smith near the 40-yard line here at James Cotter Field. Smith goes around the defense, uses his speed to come on in, feeds a pass behind the net, taken in by Arnold, who slings it back to Matten. Low shot, and a bouncer is denied by LaRiviere on a nice sling by the freshman Matten. So UMass Boston early on getting a couple opportunities, but the goalie, Jason LaRiviere out of Chelmsford, Massachusetts, has been game. Dillon with the interception, slings it forward for Clay Arnold. Arnold maintaining possession as he awaits substitutions. Dillon off the field, replaced out there for the moment by Adam Carvo. Here's Croy Arnold now. Slings it to Lee, connecting with Carvo. Carvo back to Tortora as they set up the offense. 11:45 to go, first quarter. Tortora spin move between two defenders. Has to pull back and slings it. Partially deflected, but he does get it to Adam Carvo. Adam looking for a lane. Got slashed a little bit. No call. Connects with Lee. Lee back to Carvo at midfield. The midfielder was using his speed and agility to stay on his feet, looking for a cutter, no one there. Somehow able to maintain his cradle as he takes a hack from number 9, that's Tyler Hawley. Tortora with possession, ball at the 40. Just outside of the offensive scoring range is motoring through now with speed to burn was Arnold as he slings it back for Holmes. Around the horn they go to Lee. And Carvo gets it back to Tortora. Strong defense here for Plymouth State as Croy Arnold tries to use his offhand to fight off his defender. But his attempt to sling it across for Lee is intercepted by La Riviere, and that's how that offensive possession will come to its conclusion. If you notice beyond the field as this one goes out of bounds, the UMass Boston baseball team is playing Game 2 of a doubleheader against Western Connecticut State, on the verge, at least when I left, of sweeping WestCon, as they are headed to the LEC tournament soon. Meanwhile, we are in the LEC tournament here on James Conner Field. Here's Conor Smith. Smith had an open shooting lane, but decided not to take it. Now he cuts back, takes the shot, and that one, I believe, got a piece of the goalie's stick, and La Riviere deflects it wide. Josh Holmes now off the reset, gets it back to Conor Smith. Smith finding Mulligan, freshly onto the field, and Matten on the far side will do a little jogging before slinging it deep for Holmes. On the field right now, Lee, Holmes, Clay Arnold. That's who Holmes was trying to hit, as well as Mulligan, Smith, and Matten. Lee with possession. Nice fake there. Fooled the entire defense with that pass attempt, but no lane as he has to dump it back for Conor Smith. And now Sam Matten going one-on-one with number 25, Casey Elkins. That is a bad pass by UMass Boston. A turnover as things go the other way. Scooped up here and moving forward with it is Chris Waterbury. Waterbury dumps it down low. Fielded there by Tetrault. Mac Tetrault tumbles down from his knees. Slings one just wide, short side as he had an opportunity against Surratt. But he tumbled down like a tree in the forest, and every last gasp effort was all for naught. 9 minutes to go, first quarter of play. UMass Boston and Plymouth State tied at 0 here in the LEC tournament semifinal. Here's Robert Ranta, the long stick defenseman, coming all the way down to find Josh Holmes. Great awareness by Holmes as he slipped down and was still able to receive that pass. He finds Sam Matten on the near side, who defers to Tortora. Holmes, Clay Arnold, Matten, Tortora, Lee, and Conor Smith out there offensively. Smith, the man with possession, going all the way around the defense. Right in front, he scores! Conor Smith delivers the goal. As the Beacons strike first with 8:25 to go in the first quarter, it's 1-0 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass Boston goal scored by number 11, Conor Smith, unassisted.
That is his 13th of the season, the most for any Beacon who has yet to start a game. So one of the most prolific reserves in Little East Conference play, shows why. And he also shows why it's important to have depth if you're going to succeed in the playoffs. That is goal number 13 for Conor Smith in just 9 games. So the Beacons will look to continue the momentum built with that goal. The last time these two teams played, back on the 22nd of April, it was Plymouth State getting out in front on a Nico Sorrentino goal at 12:53. The Beacons then unleashed 3 consecutive goals to end the first quarter. Offensively, here are the Panthers on the prowl looking to even things up. With possession there, it's Sam McCoy. Getting it back to number 40, Nico Sorrentino, and around the horn they come. With possession now, it's Pete Allen. Allen, down low. That's Amani Emwingra. Nice fake pass there by number 40, Nico Sorrentino, but he did not have a lane as stepping in was Jack Dillon to create any penetration opportunity erased as that pass attempt is out of bounds. And a turnover here for Plymouth State as the Beacons regain offensive possession. There's going to be a timeout on the field, a timeout Plymouth State, as UMass Boston has taken a 1-0 lead. 7:21 to go, first quarter. This is the Little East Conference semifinal game between UMass Boston and Plymouth State right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. We'll be back. We are all set to go coming out of the timeout. UMass Boston leading Plymouth State 1-0. Beacons will have possession coming out of the timeout. Robert Ranta, the man with a plan. I think he's got Alex Surrett to his left, and he does find him. Alex, the phenomenal young freshman, has won Defensive Player of the Week honors already in his freshman year. He's somebody to keep an eye on in the future as the Beacons hope to continue their quest to be the best in the LEC. Ranta got things over midfield, dumped it down, opportunity coming on in, a quick shot, and that's a goal for UMass Boston! Jack Dillon comes all the way in and does it himself on a feed from Robert Ranta. The defensemen come through, Dillon from Ranta, and UMass Boston leads 2-0 here in the first quarter. What a goal for Jack Dillon, a two-way player if you've ever seen him. He loves to attack the offense. That is double-digit goals now for Jack. He's got 10 on the year. Meanwhile, for Mr. Ranta, that is, folks, for a freshman, that is his first point of his collegiate career. So congratulations to Robert Ranta on his first point, and congratulations to the UMass Boston Beacons, who are now up 2-0 as we see a flag fly, and somebody will have an advantage coming on up. Looks like it will be the visiting Panthers. So Ranta gets the assist, his first of the year. The goal goes to Dillon. And now a chance for the Panthers to get on the board with possession. A little bit of a hook there, no call. Opportunity now, faking the shot was number 8, Cam Cormier. And then a bad pass intended for Galen Antolino. And that one comes out of bounds. Flag was thrown. It's going to be 1 minute, I think, for slashing.
19 for a slash.
So Murphy is the guilty party as he heads to the sin bin for a minute.
Boston penalty issue number 19, Matt Murphy. 1 minute for a slash.
And that'll give a chance for this exceptional man-up opportunity. They're shooting at a 25% clip with the man-up compared to only 20% for UMass Boston. So we'll see if the Beacons defense can rise up and stand tall in resistance. It's 2-0 UMass Boston. I'm John Skudris. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network production of the 2017 Little East Conference semifinal, as there's a goal for number 40 in green. That's Nico Sorrentino, a senior from Chelmsford, has cut the lead in half. It's 2-1 Beacons here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Plymouth State man-up goal scored by number 40, Nico Sorrentino.
And, folks, that's something Nico knows how to do. In his 17th game of the season, he now has 39 goals on the year. So Nico Sorrentino, an offensive force, and he showed why right there. It's 2-1. Beacons as I mentioned, have to avoid going a man down against this Plymouth State team. They are very good with the advantage, and they showed it right there. Goal 39 for Sorrentino. They win the ensuing faceoff and have a chance now to build momentum against UMass Boston. Here's Sam McCoy, running hard like LaShawn McCoy, all the way up the sideline, getting around one defender. Trying to drop it back, he does. Sorrentino, feed near side. That one's gobbled up and held before being dumped back to the midfielder, number 8, Tyler Hawley. Hawley sends it back, taken in here by Galen Antolino. Around the horn they come, where it eventually rests on the stick of Waterbury. Waterbury connecting here as Sorrentino drops it back, looking for the open shooting lane. What passing. Great ground ball there, scooping that one up successfully was Waterbury. Harassed behind the net by Ganem. Dumps it near side. Taken in by Antolino. Galen cradles it. Sends it far side. Around the horn it goes towards Nico Sorrentino. Sorrentino from Cormier. Spinning back. Dropping it right in front. Quick shot. Just wide of the net from Chris Waterbury. As 13 and Green had a chance to even it up at 4:56. Mac Tetrault now with possession. He finds Sorrentino. Nico shot high and wide as he continues to unleash that howitzer cannon on Alex Surratt. And obviously, since that penalty, the momentum has shifted towards the Panthers. Galen Antolino jumps it far side, taken in there by Cam Cormier. Cormier finds Tyler Gagnon. Gagnon hits Sorrentino. Nico back to Gagnon. Dumping it down low here for Kelly. Thomas Kelly back to Gagnon. Sorrentino waiting. Instead, it goes down low to be taken in there by Waterbury. Faking the pass. Far side. Wide open shot. Great block there as this one's sent wide. I think Croy Arnold got in the shooting lane of Cam Cormier and was able to deflect it out of bounds, protecting the net of Alex Surratt. Here's a chance now, and ooh, losing possession was Galen Antolino, and that's a bad turnover. A collision there. And a whistle as Robert Ranta went down, and all that does is lead to momentum for the Beacons, as here's Tortora down low. He's looking for Clay Arnold, could not connect with him, and there's another Beacon turnover. In the first matchup between these two squads, folks, it was a game from start to finish. Beacons kind of pulled away late in the game, but they were up 3-1 before giving up 3 unanswered goals in the second to fall behind 4-3 at the half against Plymouth State. Beacons battled back, and they traded goals in the third quarter before UMass Boston took a 6-5 lead that they would not relinquish. But this is a Plymouth State team that knows how to play against these Beacons, and they're showing it early on. That's a tough angle. Instead, deferring up to the point for a shot and a goal! Plymouth State has evened the game. A top shelf where Mama hides the cookies, as the shot came, I believe, from number 39, Alex Croatti. And just like that, this one is even. It's 2-2 on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Plymouth State University goal scored by number 39, Alex Parati, assisted by number 26, Pete Allen.
The assist is credited to Pete Allen for Croatti. That is his 8th goal of the year in 16 games, no starts. And so things were looking on the up and up for the Beacons. All of a sudden, Plymouth State is on the prowl as the Panthers are making UMass Boston their prey. 2:50 to go, first quarter. Josh Holmes with possession. Beacons trying to keep this possession as they have not had any momentum over the last 6 or 7 minutes. Conor Smith has a goal in this one. He now has possession. Drops it back for Matten, back to Conor Smith. Adam Carvo, the midfielder, joins them. The attackers down low are Clay Arnold, Calvin Lee, and Josh Holmes. Far side, Smith sends it back near side. Carvo fields it. Did not have a shooting lane as he is harassed tightly out there by number 32. That is Adam Haversat. Sam Matten, one-on-one with Ryan Geppert. Drumps it back for Carvo. Far side for Smith. Smith around the defense. Gets taken down by number 38, Lucas McHugh. And there is no whistle and no laundry on the field. The Beacons, however, do keep possession as Josh Holmes is the man with it. Holmes comes all the way far side around the net. Typically, he'll try to find the open midfielder, and he does. Less than 2 to go in quarter number 1. It's 2-2, Beacons and the Panthers. Here's Conor Smith. He already has a goal. Taking another chance as that one sails high and wide top shelf. Beacons will maintain possession as Clay Arnold got there first. Clay now sends this one to Adam Carvo. Adam, nice spin move to get around the defense. A chance for numbers for the Beacons, but great defensive play made by Adam Habersat, the senior from Cape Elizabeth, as he swats it away from Carvo's grasp and leads to a rush the other way for the Panthers. Fighting his way in, taking a shot and denied by Surrett. What a great save by Surrett on Adam Habersat, who tried to do it all by him's lonesome. There's a shot from Lee that sails wide as possession goes towards the Panthers. But a lot of back and forth here in the first quarter with just 56 seconds to go. Maybe one last chance for romance before the whistle for the Panthers if they hope to press their luck here with possession. La Riviere, the goalie, all the way out of his net. Sends this one deep. Good connection and a slash to the head, and that's going to draw a penalty. Cam Cormier got the feed from his netminder and got slashed in the head by Jack Dillon. And the Beacons are going to be a man down yet again. Just 18 seconds left for the Panthers to do something before the whistle. Terrell sends it in front of the net. Somehow able to get his stick on it there was Cam Cormier, but it does sail out of bounds with just 6.3 seconds to go. There's laundry on the field, so they're going to have to call it, and over comes the ref to call it. It's going to be Dillon. It was clearly a slash to the head. And it's 1 minute for Jack Dillon.
UMass Boston penalty issue number 22, Jack Dillon. 1 minute for a slash.
So for the next 6.3, the Beacons will be a man down, and then, of course, that'll continue into the second as they'll just run out the clock here. Will Nico Sorrentino, and that'll do it for quarter number 1. It started out all Beacons all the time. They scored the first 2 goals of the game, and it looked like it may be a Beacon coronation en route to a trip to Keene State. However, the Plymouth Panthers have bounced back. They score 2 unanswered to end the quarter, and they will begin the second a man up for about 54 seconds. That'll all come up when we come back right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. The Plymouth State faithful, well, you can call them faithful. They made the trip down. Just in front of us, we have a horde of Plymouth State fans supporting their Panthers. And why not? This is a team that really struggled early on this season. Things looked pretty dire, but in April they ran on a winning streak that propelled them into playoff positioning, and that's where they are today. They lost to Western Connecticut State in their season finale before coming back and beating WestConn at home back at Courier Field in Plymouth. And that was a 14-11 final. In that game, though, it was back and forth throughout much of the affair. In fact, 8-8 in the third quarter with 10:23 to go when Chris Waterbury got Plymouth at least knotted up after they had blown what was a 7-5 lead. Plymouth, meanwhile, as they switch sides, will look to get the lead for the first time as they have a man up right now. Jack Dillon in the sin bin for slashing. Sorrentino looking for his second, and he scores! Nico Sorrentino, a howitzer cannon top shelf, and for the first time this evening, the Panthers are on the prowl. They lead it 3-2 over UMass Boston. So for Nico Sorrentino, that is now 40 goals here in 2017. And the crowd that made the trip down from Plymouth, New Hampshire is loving it. The Beacons led 2-0 early on in this game. 3 unanswered goals by the Panthers, and they now lead it 3-2. Ensuing faceoff is won by the man who just got out of the sin bin, Dillon. Great feed looking for Lee, but it was off the mark. And chasing that one down is Holmes, who gets there, but unfortunately unable to beat the whistle, and it will be Plymouth moving the other way. Second quarter of play here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. As always, you can check out all of your Beacons athletics action on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at UMass Beacons, as the Beacons are trying to advance to the Little East Conference Championship game against Keene State with a victory this evening, trailing 3-2 against Plymouth State here at home. Behind the net right now is Waterbury. Sends it far side, taken in by Tetrall. Tetrall to the top where the midfielders play pitch and catch. Sorrentino's got 2 already. Unable to field that feed, but cradles it back into his possession. Trying to go to 3 defenders was number 39, Alex Karate. He has a goal as well, and then he gets taken down, and a penalty coming on up. And I think this is going to be on Plymouth. And it will. So a cross-check here on Plymouth, and that's 1 minute. That's going to go against Karate. So UMass Boston at about a 20.5 clip with the man up will try to avenge what was a man down goal that they gave up earlier.
Number 39, Alex Karate. 1 minute for cross-checking.
Down 3-2, 13:20 to go. Lee connects with Croy Arnold. He hits Josh Holmes. The freshman sensation goes back to Lee, far side for Clay Arnold, who cannot field that pass. Luckily, though, backing him up was Conor Smith. Now Lee to Holmes, back behind the net, finding Matten. Matten connects with Lee from the top. Great feed down low. Back to Matten now. Matten takes the shot, and a high riser misses everything, but the Beacons do get possession as they continue with the man up, trying to even this thing up. Conor Smith now for Lee. Around the horn for Croy Arnold. Josh Holmes back to Lee. Lee far side connecting with Conor Smith. Smith thought about shooting, goes back to Lee. Near side for Holmes. Fakes the shot. Pulls back. Down low again for Sam Matten. 12:35 to go, second quarter. Lee, great pass, looking down low, but it's intercepted on a fine defensive effort from Tyler Hawley. That sets up a short-handed opportunity the other way. Motoring forward is La Riviera. Chance, he shoots, goal! And that one just sails just wide. That was actually Adam Habersat, the defenseman, coming all the way down and missing just wide, but the pressure is still on. Nico Sorrentino, he can shoot. We've already seen it twice. Instead, he holds it back and resets for Plymouth State. Manic action here in the last couple of minutes. Sorrentino looking for a lane, dumps it back, and unable to field that one was number 13, Chris Waterbury, and UMass Boston gets a turnover, and a much-needed one at that, as Murphy will start things out. Matt Murphy dumps it back for Surrett. Surrett far side. Instead dumps it all the way forward to be taken in here by Jim Ganem. Ganem applying offensive pressure. Usually it's Dillon, the one who with the long stick is applying the pressure offensively. And we're going to get a timeout because I think Tyler Lowe didn't like what he saw right there. First timeout called this evening for Tyler Lowe's club. The Beacons once up 2-0 in this game, now trail 3-2. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network production of the 2017 Little East Conference Tournament. Out of the timeout, UMass Boston with possession. Conor Smith gets the feed from Clay Arnold. Beacons trailing 3-2. I am John Skudris. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Glad to have you with us as the Beacons look for a berth in the Little East Conference Championship against the Owls of Keene State. Anthony Tortora perhaps playing one of his final collegiate games here as Holmes dumps it for Croy Arnold. Earlier today, Keene State absolutely demolished Eastern Connecticut State. It was 24-8 in the fourth quarter last time we checked. Meanwhile, getting taken down is Lee, and he's going to draw a penalty. So Calvin Lee does what Calvin does best, posting up in front of the net and drawing a flag for the opposing squad. And so the Beacons should be a man up for an extended period. It's going to be 30 seconds here, most likely for a push, and that gives the Beacons an opportunity to even things up. Of course, Keene State hasn't lost to anybody in the Little East Conference this year. 7-0 coming into the tournament, and then they won the semifinal matchup against EastCon. Beacons have the man up. They're 0 for 1. Here's Lee. Lee, nice fake pass to Arnold. Instead, he went back down to Matten. Arnold gets it by way of Lee, and then Croy trying to connect with Clay, and brotherly love is not evident there as he was unable to connect initially, but good effort there by Clay to get to it. Holmes sends it up front for Lee, and as a bad pass as Lee couldn't get it and then goes tumbling down. Here's a rush the other way. Sorrentino passing in front. Good defense to at least force a softer shot than what could have been, as the initial shot came from Lucas McHugh, but a great defensive effort by the Beacons to get back. Ganem hits Lee. Lee's got a shot. Instead, he goes far side. Taking that shot and missing wide was Conor Smith as it comes out of bounds for the Beacons to maintain possession. 9:53 to go, second quarter of play. It's 3-2 Plymouth. Adam Carvo back to Tortora. Tortora and Adam Carvo, the two middies, playing catch here near the midfield line of James Cotter Field. Conor Smith with possession. Goes around the defense, takes the shot, and ooh, did that go in? He scores! Conor Smith, his second of the day, as he evens things up at 3. 3-all, UMass Boston and Plymouth State, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass Boston unassisted goal scored by number 11, Conor Smith.
A deceptive goal from Conor Smith, as that one went in and out quicker than you can blink an eye. But the nearby referee put his arms up, signaling good goal, and that's good enough for us, as the Beacons have evened it up at 3. As mentioned, that is Conor's second of the day. And now here's Jack Dillon looking for some. Oh, he goes right through two. Finds Lee. Lee with a deceptive shot. Through a couple of bodies, but that one sails wide. For Conor, he now has 14 goals and 22 points. Keep in mind, he has yet to start a game this year, so pretty impressive numbers, though he does get a lot of playing time as he usually immediately comes off the bench right when the Beacons get the offensive chance. Here's Holmes being harassed closely there by Tyler Hawley. As Conor Smith is the man now with possession near midfield. Smith trying to press his luck to go for the hat trick. Dumps this one back for Sam Matten. Far side, Adam Carvo going around. Instead looking for Holmes. Holmes fighting for it with Hawley. Who's going to get there? It's Holmes. Josh, nice cut on a dime as he almost went down with Ryan Geppert on his heels. Maintaining his footing and finding Conor Smith. Smith connects with Carvo on the far side, harassed defensively out there by Elkins. 8 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first half of play, a 3-3 game between the Beacons and the Panthers. Here's Smith. Conor double teamed. No trouble for him as he keeps his cradle. Conor trying to use some of that agility in a spin move. Nice one, not once but twice. Gets an open shooting lane and a great save made with the leg by La Riviere. Conor Smith opening eyes here in the first half of play as he has become the offensive focal point for Tyler Lowe's club. Meanwhile, La Riviere has possession for the visiting Panthers, connecting there with Nick Bath. Moving forward now is Alex Croati. He has a goal today. Behind the net for Tetrault. Tetrault drops it back. Chance in front. Nice pump fake. And then it goes right back behind the net for Waterbury by way of number 26, Pete Allen. Tetrault back to the top for Bath. And now getting the feed there is Armani M. Wingra. Tetrault from Waterbury. Sorrentino just waiting there at the top. Wide open if they can get to him. Tetrault spins back. Chance for a shot. Nice score! Alex Croati delivers again, his second of the day, and UMass Boston sees their lead dissipate. Once again, it's 4-4. Excuse me, 4-3, Plymouth State. So Plymouth takes the lead back. It's Alex Croati's second of the day. And UMass Boston trails yet again. Ensuing face-off here as Murphy will try to win it for the Beacons. Back and forth they go here from James Cotter Field. Face-off is unfortunately won and taken by number 35, Kyle Stockman. Stockman dumps it back behind the net for Tetrault. Tetrault with possession.
Assisted by number 11, Mac Tetro.
With possession now, they're going to give that goal to Gagnon. The freshman out of Cape Elizabeth, Maine. Beacons trailing 4-3 with 6:15 to go. Waterbury for Tetrault, back to Chris Waterbury. This Plymouth State squad won 6 in a row in April. And it's really the one run that's propelled them here into the tournament. Cam Cormier now. Finds his partner in crime, but unable to field it was number 17, Galen Antolino. And now here come the Beacons the other way. Chance now for Dillon coming in. He scores! Jack Dillon from the defensive position comes all the way in and scores again for UMass Boston. Number 22 in white has made it 4-4 as Jack the Ripper delivers for the Beacons.
UMass Boston goal scored by number 22, Jack Dillon, assisted by number 7, Clay Arnold.
So Jack now has 11 goals on the campaign as he continues to usurp his teammates in the scoring category. That puts him 6th on the team in goal scoring from the defensive position, behind only Holmes, both Arnolds, Calvin Lee, Adam Carvo, and Conor Smith. Ensuing face-off, Dillon fighting for it along with Murphy, and who else but Matt Murphy emerges from the fracas with possession as he dumps it back for Croy Arnold. Croy sends it back towards Tortora, and now Alex Surratt, the goalkeeper, is going to run the show as he chucks this one deep with the accuracy of Brady. Great feed there, and an opportunity for UMass Boston offensively as Holmes gets it from Dillon. 5 minutes exactly left here in the first half of play. 4-4, Beacons and the Panthers. Tortora with possession near midfield. He's out there with Conor Smith and Croy Arnold. Calvin Lee, Clay Arnold. And there's a shot taken there by Tortora that sails wide. The only man I didn't name, Josh Holmes, is the man to get there first. Holmes hits Smith, who goes and defers towards Croy Arnold. Back from whence it came to Conor Smith. Smith D'd up one-on-one with the defender. That's number 12, Joe Haffekmeyer. And unfortunately, Hackmeyer forces a bad pass for Tortora, and that's a turnover, leading the other way for Plymouth State. Panthers coming on in with possession. Here's Cam Cormier. Ryan Geppert now gets it from him. Down low they go for Tetrall and Waterbury. Back to Mac Tetrall. Cormier has possession, finds Nicolino. Opportunity from a great shot there as that one sails wide as Trevor Gagnon had an opportunity that sailed and just missed near side. That sound you hear is the ferocious fracas of fans in front of us as they have seen their team score again. It's 5-4 Plymouth State as they have delivered a goal with 3:37 to go here in the second quarter. And it's Nico Sorrentino yet again. You blink an eye, and just like that, Nico delivers. It's 5-4 Panthers on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Ensuing face-off one here by the Panthers, and then the Beacons take it right away. And a good feed by Murphy to hit Ranta. Robert Ranta does not have a goal yet this year, and that one denied down low by Jason LaRiviere. Robert Ranta didn't have any points coming into this year despite playing every game. He already has an assist, and he almost had a goal. Meanwhile, great turnover and a force there by Dillon. Dillon tumbling out of bounds, tried to keep it inbounds and could not. And a turnover right back to Sam McCoy and those Panthers. Now down low, here's Tetro. Tetro D'd up by Tortora. Back for Mwingra. Around the horn they come. Taken in here by Croati. Croati slashed a little bit there by Murphy. But all's fair in love and war as the Beacons try to fight their way towards the LEC title. There's a big blast that was deflected high and wide off the stick of Pete Allen, a senior midfielder. Stay tuned at halftime, folks. We will have highlights of the first meeting between these two teams, an 11-7 Beacons victory. Meanwhile, Beacons trailing by a goal right now as Surratt scoops things up in his own crease. Just 2 and change left in the first half of play. It's been a game of momentum switches. Beacons had it to start. Plymouth took it back. UMass Boston had it momentarily, and now they trail by a goal yet again, 5-4. Nico Sorrentino has been a one-man wrecking crew as we get a slash and a whistle and a timeout, I believe, on the field. So a timeout with 1:51 to go in the first half of play. It is Plymouth State 5, UMass Boston 4 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I'm John Scudris. UMass Boston trailing 5-4 with 1:51 to go here in the second quarter. The Beacons called that timeout. They have possession. On the far side, it's Clay Arnold. And what a recruiting job from Tyler Lowe to bring the Arnold brothers over, especially with the fact that Calvin Lee was hurt for most of this year. Clay and Croy had to perform admirably, and they certainly have, as another young man who's performed exceptionally is Josh Holmes. Holmes being D'd up one-on-one with Tyler Hawley. Holmes knows how to score goals, but he defers to Sam Matten, another great freshman for this Beacons team. And when you look at UMass Boston, yes, it would be great to get to that LEC championship, and whatever happens against Keene State happens, but the future is bright. Both Croy and Clay are only juniors. They'll be back next year, barring any unforeseen circumstances, as Sam Matten's trying to take it back, but he drops it. Really an unforced error there. And then right back from whence it came, the Beacons trying to gain possession. Here's Calvin Lee, and then almost chucking it into his own net, but an alert play made by Bath as he shoveled it back to La Riviere. Beacons coming back the other way. Dillon drops it. Holmes right in front. Lee. Calvin backhand. Great pass in front. Oh, and Dillon got in front. They score! Clay Arnold delivers for UMass Boston. And we are tied up again at 5 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I believe that assist should go to Dillon because he deflected it inadvertently.
UMass Boston goal scored by number 7, Clay Arnold, assisted by number 22, Jack Dillon.
That's what Dave Wahlberg says. I agree. As UMass Boston sees Clay Arnold get his 28th goal of the year, that leads the team. The assist from Jack Dillon, and boy, oh boy, what doesn't Jack Dillon do? The guy is a competitor out there, both offensively and defensively. Last time out against Southern Maine, he almost knocked a couple of guys' teeth out there. He got so feisty and ended up serving some time for it. But there's no doubt there's no one you'd rather have in your corner than Jack Dillon, as there he is once again fighting for possession. Unfortunately, unable to corral it from Adam Haversat, and that'll allow the Panthers to regroup and reconvene and set up an offensive rush. Whole new lacrosse game, folks. Just 20 seconds left, but here's Sorrentino. Watch out. Great defensive play and a whistle and a timeout called by the Panthers, and Croy Arnold can't believe it. He stole the ball, but a timeout is called. 15.7 seconds left here in the second quarter, and it's critical 15 seconds with the game tied at 5. I mentioned in their first round win at home against WestCon, those two teams were tied at 5 after 1, and WestCon actually led 8-7 after 2 before Plymouth State reeled off 7 of the next 11 goals en route to victory. So the Beacons will have to play a little defense here for another 15 seconds before they can catch their breath. And there's no one else you'd rather have between the pipes than Alex Surratt. Beacons men's baseball team still battling WestCon across the track from here. That was a doubleheader. That game one, I believe, was one of the quicker games in Beacons history. What was it? 85 minutes? 95 minutes. You can go see a bad Ben Affleck movie in that amount of time. Meanwhile, here's Sorrentino trying to make the Beacons feel bad late as there's a shot that's blocked down in front. Just 9 seconds to go. Beacons just need to clear. Instead, we're going to get a penalty, I think. Right in front, they score! An absolute dagger through the hearts of Alex Surratt and the Beacons as Chris Waterbury scores with just 3.2 to go. It's 6-5 Plymouth on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. So Waterbury delivers, and it is 6-5 Panthers. Waterbury came out of nowhere there as a cavalcade of bodies came crashing down to the field, and somehow, some way, they were able to connect with them. And as time expires here in the first half, an inauspicious conclusion to the first 30 minutes for UMass Boston. They led this game 2-0 at one point, and they now trail it 6-5. So UMass Boston with a chance to move on to the championship affair, the Little East Conference, unable to do so through the first 30 minutes. They trail 6-5. It's going to take a comeback in the final 30 if they have hopes of facing off against Keene at 1 p.m. on Saturday. While we update the scoreboard and all of that and get you all the statistics, why don't we take a look at highlights from the first meeting between these two clubs, an 11-7 UMass Boston victory back on April the 22nd. That's up next right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I am John Scudris. UMass Boston trailing 6-5 after 30 minutes of play as you take a look at the halftime stats. The Beacons out shooting Plymouth State 20-16. However, most of those shots not reaching the net as Plymouth State's goaltender Jason Riviere has 5 saves compared to only 3 for Alex Surratt. It's pretty close in face-offs. 7 out of 12 have been won by the Panthers, and of course turnovers are relatively even as well. But if you want to know the difference and why UMass Boston is losing this game, look at that final stat on your screen right there. None other than man-up opportunities. Plymouth State has taken advantage. They are 2 for 2 on the man-up. Meanwhile, the Beacons, well, they have not. They are 0 for 2 on the man-up, and that's the reason why UMass Boston trails Plymouth State 6-5. Elsewhere around Beaconville today, a lot of action going on here at UMass Boston as the Little East Conference softball tournament continues. In Game 1, UMass Boston won 3-2 over UMass Dartmouth. The Beacons, the number 4 ranked team in that tournament. In the LEC men's tennis semifinals, the number 1 seeded Beacons triumphed over number 4 seeded Bridgewater State 4-2. They'll be on their way to further action. And baseball is concluding their regular season as they sweep a doubleheader against Western Connecticut State, winning a 93-minute Game 1 4-0, and winning Game 2, and a bit more of a marathon, 12-4, the final score. So the Beacons dominating all throughout around Beaconville. Let's hope the lacrosse team can put a cherry on top of what has been a fantastic afternoon for Beacon sports. Speaking of fantastic, those Keene State College Owls lacrosse players have been fantastic all season long. They went 7-0 against the LEC in the regular season, and they continued their dominance over their rivals in this conference today with a 24-8 victory. 26-8 if I can read. 26-8 victory over number 4 seeded Eastern Connecticut State. With that, they will host the Little East Conference Championship game at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday against the winner of this evening's affair. We look ahead and see that, of course, is going to be the matchup on Saturday at Keene. So if you can make it out there to check out the Keene State Owls taking on, hopefully, your UMass Boston Beacons, I suggest you do so, even if the weather is not looking quite as good as we would have hoped. We're going to go to a break here before the start of the third quarter. Still a couple of minutes left. When we come back, we will have the opening face-off and the conclusion of what has been a fantastic game between the Plymouth State Panthers and your UMass Boston Beacons. All set for the opening face-off of the second half here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I'm John Skudras. So glad to have you with us as we have plenty of Plymouth State Panther fans in front of us causing a ruckus. We hope that that doesn't translate onto the airwaves. We hope that Jack Dillon can translate into a goal as he fires this one just wide of the net as La Riviere has to chase after it, and Beacons do keep possession as Josh Holmes has it. Beacons down 6-5 as we get underway here. The final 30 minutes perhaps of the Beacons season if things don't turn around. They trail 6-5 at home here in the LEC semifinal, with the winner going on to take on Keene State at 1 p.m. on Saturday at Keene, New Hampshire. Which, if you haven't been to Keene, New Hampshire, is just such a beautiful place. Tortora with possession near side. Sarcastic, of course. Tortora with possession near side. Drops it back to Holmes. Holmes, far side, fielded in by Calvin Lee. Lee has got all the moves in the world. He's got the moves like Jagger, if you will, but instead he decides to dump this one back to Clay Arnold. Here's Matten taking a shot high and wide near side. Sam really didn't have a great angle as the netminder La Riviere was poised in his positioning. As Holmes now resets everything. This is what you're looking for, though. We were talking off the air during the intermission and saying how the Beacons, yes, they have the possession numbers, but they have to shoot. They're not shooting enough. Maybe Holmes will. What a save made by La Riviere from point-blank range as Holmes had an opportunity to even things up at 6. Instead, now motoring the other way are the Panthers. Bath had possession. Now it's like he's caught in no man's land, has no idea with whom to give it to, and that's a turnover. That's a horrific play by number 32, Adam Haversat, as he just got caught in no man's land and now allows Clay Arnold to set up things offensively. Sam Matten with possession. Matten out there with Lee. Conor Smith's coming on. Arnold, Holmes, and we're missing one. There's Carvo. Matten back behind the net for Holmes. Holmes deed one-on-one with Tyler Hawley. Far side, it's taken in here by Carvo. Cut back. Looking back behind the net, taken in by Clay Arnold. Arnold finds Calvin Lee, whose name has not been mentioned enough today, and there's a reason why the Beacons are trailing. Lee taking it, thinking of shooting, gets shoved from behind, sends it right out in front. Great shot from Carvo as he was tumbling down, but he missed just wide near side. Good idea for Calvin Lee to find Carvo. Unfortunately, Adam unable to find the twine. Carvo now has it again. Back behind the net for Holmes. Holmes covered by Hawley. Holmes right out in front, a chance. They score! UMass Boston delivers yet again, and if I'm not mistaken, it is a familiar man. It's Conor Smith, his third of the day. For number 11 in white, he has been a one-man wrecking crew. It's 6-6. So Conor Smith on the assist from Josh Holmes, and the Beacons have evened it up at 6 just out of the gate. 2 minutes and 37 seconds into the second half. 47 seconds, excuse me. 12-13 mark here in the third quarter. Face-off won by the Panthers. Plymouth State then hands it immediately over to Jack Dillon. Dillon knows what to do with it. He scores! Jack Dillon, top shelf, fools La Riviere, and the Beacons are swarming over the Panthers here in the second half. It's 7-6 UMass Boston.
Unassisted goal scored by number 22, Jack Dillon.
Jack Dillon, as smooth as Bob Dylan on that one, as he came right through the defense and delivered for UMass Boston. And the Beacons all of a sudden have regained the lead at 7-6. I don't know what Tyler Lowe said during halftime. Might have given him some extra Gatorade, a bowl of Wheaties, or just a good pep talk, but the Beacons right now have some extra pep in their step and have left the Panthers in the dust. Plymouth trying to answer back. Here is John Haftmeyer. Hafkenmeyer will pull back. He's a long stick defenseman. He does not want to be offensive as he hands this one off to Pete Allen. Allen holding back, sending it far side for for Zach Kirkle, and then Torrentino goes down low for Waterbury, back to Torrentino. Nico Sorrentino hands things off for Croati. Croati down low, behind the net here, Turalt back top shelf. Croati's shot is blocked down. Good play by Robert Ranta, who got in front of the shot. Then this one trickles into the crease where Surrett was waiting. Ground ball still left on the ground before it's scooped up by Sorrentino. Nico knows what to do with it. He's already got 3. As his team trails 7-6, serves one in front for Waterbury, who missed this one just wide. 11 minutes to go, third quarter of play. Taking and faking the shot. Now Sorrentino takes a shot that sails wide near side. Still 7-6 UMass Boston. With possession is Mwingra for the Panthers. Hands it off for Pete Allen, far side. Taken in back near side for Mwingra. Croati to Mwingra. Mwingra far side for Sorrentino. Sorrentino pump fake. Still has it. Takes a slash there on his butt end of his stick from Dillon. Down low, great feed, Mwingra. Great save made by Alex Surrett, as he got right in the face of number 37 in green to deny an opportunity from down low. Murphy now, far side, dumps it forward. Jim Gannum has it. Unfamiliar territory for Jim, and smartly tries to dump it back successfully for Arnold. Croy Arnold, fighting through 2 defenders, draws a penalty and then loses possession. And the Beacons, at the very least, will go a man up on that one. I think it might have been a hold. So the Beacons will go a man up, and looks like they're going to call it on Lucas McHugh. No. It's going to be number 21, Christian McKinnon, the junior, out of Norwalk, Connecticut. Here's Clay getting it from Croy. Conor Smith, far side for Clay. Croy from Calvin. Croy Arnold back to Calvin Lee. Pitch and catch with Croy. Matten back for Arnold. Penalty is over. Beacons just squandered that entire penalty just passing it around. I understand what they're trying to do, but eventually you got to do something with it, right? As Holmes gets this one knocked away, and there's a turnover by the Beacons as their 7-6 lead continues to remain tenuous. Good pass as connecting there. Sam McCoy finding Adam Haversat. Haversat then dumps it back down low for Waterbury. Waterbury with Mac Tetro. He's the man with the ball at the edge of his stick. Tetro back for Waterbury, and that was a horrific pass from Tetro. Tried to go no look and sailed it way over the head of his partner in crime, and that's a turnover as the Beacons regain possession. Murphy on the far side. He's got a lot of range and a lot of room with which to move. Dumps it back to Surrett as pressure begins to be applied by the Panthers. And Surrett sends it near side for Robert Ranta to clean things up. Ranta, hesitation move, almost got tripped. He has an assist today as he loses possession, but fortuitous bounce as it goes right to Josh Holmes. And Robert Ranta, I think, is going to get called here, and he does. A moving screen there for Ranta, and that's going to allow possession go the other way, at least momentarily, but now an opportunity for the Beacons. Tortora with it. Conor Smith on for Dillon. So Tortora, Smith, Lee, Arnold, Matten, and Holmes. Here's Tortora. Anthony, one of only 2 seniors on this squad, along with Calvin Lee. Nice move by Holmes going from left to right, keeping the cradle as he's harassed there by Tyler Hawley. Matten finds Holmes. Holmes around the D, takes a shot, great save made by La Riviere, rebound, they score! If at first you don't succeed, try again, and Josh Holmes did just that as UMass Boston extends their lead. It is 8-6 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Josh Holmes, what a recruit he has been. A freshman from Weymouth, 6'2", 175, and he plays well beyond his weight. He is one of the best young players in the Little East Conference. And if you don't believe me, watch what he just did moments ago. So here's Murphy now trying to keep the momentum on UMass's side. They now lead 8-6. As scooping it up, Dillon was unable to get the ground ball initially. Now he's got it. Dillon, great feed. Lee's shot, great save made as La Riviere got a stick on it to at least deflect it wide. Boy, oh boy, this has been the Beacons putting pedal to the metal here in the third quarter. As frustration from what was a lackadaisical first half appears to have boiled over into the form of goals. Here's Tortora. He got slashed in the head, no call. Dumps this one towards Smith. Conor Smith awaiting the offense to be set up. Sam Matten rejoins the show. And now here's Smith. Conor waiting, dumping it back, connecting with Tortora. Anthony near side for Sam Matten. Josh Holmes behind the net. Good feed. Lee, pump fake, spin move, takes the shot just wide. Every time he's got a treasure chest of moves, does Calvin Lee. And every time he shoots, you think he's going to tickle the twine, but just missing wide on that one. Thankfully, though, the Beacons do keep possession as Sam Matten has it. 5:51 to go, third quarter of play. The Beacons, in what has been a back-and-forth affair, lead at 8-6. The winner takes on Keene State on Saturday at Keene for a chance to be named the champions of the Little East in 2017. Beacons trying to avoid a turnover. How did Josh Holmes come up with that? And how did he come up with a goal? Josh Holmes has delivered again for UMass Boston. And the Beacons have put up 3 in the last few minutes. They lead it 9-6 on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. What an unbelievable goal for Josh Holmes.
UMass Boston goal scorer number 14, Josh Holmes, assisted by number 3, Calvin Lee.
I was just singing his praises, and he makes me sound good because he is an exceptional lacrosse player. The Beacons are going to lose Anthony Tortora. They're going to lose Calvin Lee at the end of this year, but they are going to have a whole lot of young talent that's going to continue to grow. And even if they do not end up winning this tournament, whether they don't win today or they fall to Keene State on Saturday, the Owls and the rest of the Little East Conference should be on notice that this team and Tyler Lowe has put together a club to be reckoned with in the future. 5:11 to go, though, as they still got plenty of lacrosse left to play here in this semifinal matchup. It's just 9-6, and if you've been following Beacons lacrosse or lacrosse at any level, those scores can change really quickly. Right now, the Panthers finally, feels like for the first time in ages, have an offensive opportunity. And a good defensive play. Knocking that one away was, I believe, Pugliese. UMass Boston leads 9-6. They did trail 6-5. It's been 4 unanswered goals for UMass Boston. And Sorrentino, who already has 3 goals, looking for more, sends it far side. With possession, there's Cormier. Behind the net it comes to Tetro. Tetro right in front. Cormier shot. Great save. No, it was blocked. Blocked down in front by Robert Ranta. Ranta doing a great job defensively as Jim Gannum emerges from the sea of green and eventually finds Surrett. Surrett connecting there with Tortora. And Anthony's got some great wheels, and he's going to use them. Why not come all the way around, dropping it in front? They score! Clay Arnold from Anthony Tortora, and UMass Boston has opened the floodgates. It's 10-6 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Clay Arnold has done it again, folks.
Clay Arnold, assisted by number 10, Anthony Tortora.
And that is 29 goals in 2017 for Clay Arnold. So one more away from that magic number 30, something that Nico Sorrentino knows all too well. He came into this game with 38. He's now got 41. Murphy fighting for it, along with Adam Haversatt. Murphy comes away with it, gets it to Dillon. Jack Dillon with possession, back behind the net, finds Clay Arnold. Beacons leading 10-6. They once trailed 6-5 in this quarter. Garvo with possession, fighting his way through the defender. That is number 1, Ryan Geppert. 3:10 left here in the third quarter of play. Tortora moving towards his right, fighting for positioning, looking to maybe take the shot. Instead, he dumps it down low, and they're going to call Tortora there. So a turnover as Tortora used his offhand to shield off the opponent, and that's going to draw this, as moving forward with it is Plymouth State, and they do eventually get it over midfield, as that was Hawley connecting with Zach French. Tetro, right out in front, takes a shot. That was deflected, I believe, by Dillon, and it'll sail out of bounds. .224 remaining, third quarter. It is 10-6, UMass Boston. Beacons trying to advance to take on Keene State in the LEC championship. This one right out in front, and the turnover intercepted by Jim Gannum. Murphy pump faked, and then with defense right up in his grill, he decides to just dump it back to Surrett, kill some clock, and let this Beacons team regroup. Good feed by Surrett, but Ranta's unable to field it. And that turnover is going to lead to numbers the other way because Ranta is way upfield. But luckily for the Beacons, most of the Panthers were also upfield, and so they have to regroup. Here's Alex Karate. Alex hands things off to Cormier. Tetral finds Waterbury right out in front. Cormier thinks about shooting. Ranta got in the lane. Instead, he sends it far side. Sorrentino one-on-one with Croy Arnold. Waterbury for Tetro. Back to Waterbury behind the net. Up top, Karate shot. Wow, what a shot that was, but high and wide. A lot of power behind that one. Spinning in front and getting absolutely crushed there on a big hit by Ranta was number 11, Mac Tetral, and it forces a turnover and a bad shot. Big hit by Ranta, and an impressive one at that with just 45 seconds to go in the third quarter. Long stretch feed intended for Jack Dillon's off the mark, but Clay Arnold was there. As we have reached the final 30 seconds of the third quarter with the Beacons up by 4. Tortora has possession, 22 seconds to go. Anthony will probably hand off to Connor. No, he fakes the handoff and then looking for the cutting Conor Smith. Instead, he comes near side for Arnold. 12 seconds left. Croy Arnold around the defense. behind the net for Holmes. Just 7 seconds left. Holmes connecting. Tortora with 3 seconds left. Takes the shot in that one. It took Lee, and then they run out of time as Calvin had an opportunity from point-blank range. But nonetheless, a big third quarter for the Beacons as they take the lead 10-6. Just 15 minutes away from advancing to the Little East Conference Tournament Championship from Keene, New Hampshire. We will be back with the final 15. The score, the Beacons 10, the Panthers 6, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. "15 minutes away from their first ever Little East Conference Tournament Championship. The UMass Boston Beacons up 10-6 over Plymouth State as they count down the minutes to history. We do get a whistle right off the initial face-off. They reconvene, and Jack Dillon connects with Clay Arnold. Again, I'm John Skudris. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network production of the 2017 Little East Conference semifinal matchup between your Beacons and the Plymouth State Panthers. If you're just joining us, the Beacons got out to a good start. They were up 2-0 before the Panthers came screaming back, scratching and clawing their way to a lead. At one point, it was 6-5 Plymouth State early on in the second half, but the Beacons had reeled off 5 straight goals to end the third quarter. And that's where we stand now, 10-6 UMass Boston. Here's Sam Matton connecting with Tortora. Tortora, dangerous feed far side for Conor Smith, but he hits him. Smith behind the net for Holmes. Holmes fighting off the check, taking the shot, and that one sails wide, but it looks like Clay Arnold's going to be the first one to get there. Conor Smith's already got a couple of goals. Looking for more, and he delivers again! Conor Smith, a man among boys. This evening, a hero is being born on the campus of UMass Boston. Conor Smith, his third of the day. It's 11-6 UMass Boston.
Assistant to number 7, Clay Arnold.
It is now 11-6, 13:42 to go. Conor Smith. What a day for number 11 in white, and he's going to be feeling really good when he goes to sleep tonight, knowing he was one of the main reasons why his team is on the verge of their first ever trip to the conference championship game. Face-off after that goal, well, it looked like it was going to be won by the Panthers, but Murphy just using great technique to poke it away and maintain possession for the Beacons. And another great move by Holmes. He's got a wide open lane towards the net. Got that angle cut off on a smart play and recovery by Tyler Hawley. But the Beacons will be content to start running some clock here with just 13:15 to go. Here's Croy Arnold, the more defensive stalwart of the Arnold brothers. His brother Clay, of course, 30 goals. What can you really say? He's phenomenal offensive talent. And Croy's no slouch in that category either, but he does play midi as opposed to attacker. Here's Matton, one of the fine freshman midfielders for this team. He connects with Clay Arnold behind the net. Clay finds his brother Croy. And a great recovery as he gets around the D. This may set up an opportunity for Matt and company. Sam shot, and he tried to pick that spot down low, but just missed far side. And that will keep possession actually with the Beacons, as great hustle there from Clay Arnold. Corey Arnold near side for Sam Matten. Matten one-on-one with Reddick. And now he will have to just pull things back. Geppert on Madden. Madden back behind the net for Clay Arnold. Clay D'd up by Nick Bath. Right out in front, an opportunity and a great save made by La Riviere as Conor Smith was looking for more. But La Riviere keeping the Panthers in this one for the moment. Plymouth has got to start putting together some offensive opportunities. It can't all come from Nico Sorrentino, as that one almost snuck its way through, but Surratt was game to pick it up, fling it up, and now here's Croy Arnold moving up, connecting there with Holmes. Beacons were almost off sides, but onsides is the call. Holmes using that great speed to try to evade Tyler Hawley. Fakes the handoff to Caravo. Fakes the pass to Caravo, and now just dishes this one to Tortora. Anthony is out there along with Croy Arnold, Adam Caravo, Calvin Lee, Clay Arnold, and Josh Holmes offensively. Ganem and Murphy along with Ranta are back there defensively. Tortora all the way around, a chance in front, hit the post! Oh, he was looking for his first goal of the evening and his 9th of the year, but Anthony Tortora unable to get that one as the goalie's best friend, denying the senior for UMass Boston. Less than 11 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter as that feed by Croy Arnold's off the mark. No one was home. And it's going to be a turnover going to the visiting Plymouth State Panthers. UMass Boston leading this one 11-6. They trailed 6-5 at one point. Motoring forward is Sam McCoy. McCoy got hit, fends things off, and is able to connect out there with number 8 Cam Cormier, but Cormier's shot denied by Surratt. Thoreau behind the net, hits Waterbury. Waterbury back to Cormier. Cormier waiting for some help, just slings it behind him for Waterbury, and now back to Cam Cormier. Here's Sorrentino, their best goal scorer. Nico, thinking about shooting, does not have a lane, has to come back behind the net for Thoreau. With possession, here's Antolino. Galen Antolino going down low for Waterbury. Chris Waterbury, one-on-one with Murphy. Far side for Tetreault. Antolino finds Sorrentino. Sorrentino in. Penalty coming up as he misses wide with the right-handed shot. But we will see a man-up opportunity coming up for the visiting Panthers. And I think Croy Arnold's the guilty party. Well, I thought at least. And I think Croy is the guilty party. He had no idea, though. It's going to be a slash for 1 minute, as Croy Arnold will be the guilty Beacon. And so with Arnold out and the Beacons in their own zone, they're going to call on one of the least used defensemen, Aiden Pugsley. Aiden standing 5'8", 170. Clearly the smallest defender out there. But he's got a ton of heart, and as he shows right there with a nice slap of the stick on the forward. That was Karate. And now behind the net, here's Tetreault. Tetreault taking a couple of hacks from Jim Ganem. Goes right up top for a high-rising shot, and a good save from the chance by Cam Cormier. And UMass Boston dodging a bullet there. 9 minutes exactly to go. That's what separates the Beacons from their first ever trip to the LEC Championship affair against Keene State. And with the way Keene State's been playing, it's going to take an effort not yet seen for the Beacons to overcome that. We have a timeout on the field. The score, UMass Boston 11, Plymouth State 6, 8:47 to go, fourth quarter of play. This is the 2017 Little East Conference semifinal game. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. $8:45 to go in the fourth quarter of play, and then going deep and getting taken down hard, and then aggressively slamming his stick into the grass was number 9, Tyler Hawley, as he's going to get called. Josh Holmes was taken down, and lacrosse is a contact sport, but it's not that much of a contact sport, so we'll see what the call is. 30 seconds for a push, and so UMass Boston will be a man up. Beacons leading 11-6 on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I'm John Skudris. Beacons baseball team swept Western Connecticut State earlier today. The softball team also won, as did the tennis team. So it's looking like it might be a 4-for-4 day here for Beacons athletics. Of course, right as I say that, in the second half of the doubleheader, I learned that softball is down 1-0, but still plenty to go. Nothing like starting a softball game at 9 p.m. I'm sure the local residents love it. Here's Plymouth State. They're trying to get right back into this one. Tetrol, D'd up by Ganem. Jim Ganem is so sound as there's a shot that sails high and wide off the stick of number 26 out there for the Panthers. That's Pete Allen. Karate now with it. Dumps it near side. Waterbury, one-on-one with Murphy. Far side and taken in by Croati again. He tried to just dump it into the middle, but a great defensive play by who else? The most aggressive man on any field, Jack Dillon. And he's got it moving forward. Jack goes right through one, not one but two, maybe three. Instead he defers towards Murphy, who takes a hit, somehow tips it right towards Clay Arnold. Boy, oh boy, if you don't have angels on your shoulders in this one, I'm not sure how those plays were made. Anybody who's seen angels in the outfield, you had a sequel for you. As here's Arnold trying to dipsy-do his way out of trouble, and eventually just decides to see Sam Matten and find him with an open feed. 6:42 between the Beacons and their first trip to the Little East Conference title. They lead it 11-6. This game has seen 3 goals from Conor Smith, who has possession right now. He's looking for more, and he scores! Conor Smith, a one-man wrecking ball, is wrecking the season of the Plymouth State Panthers. They double up their rivals from Plymouth, New Hampshire, as number 11 in white delivers again. It's 12-6, UMass Boston. I tell you what, Jason LaRiviere, he's going to have nightmares. They won't be about spiders. They won't be about monsters under the bed. They'll be about Conor Smith's howitzer cannons and his inability to stop them today, because Conor Smith has just taken over this semifinal game. Right now, the Beacons just have to play sound defensively, avoid going a man down, and they will be on their way. As this one comes out of bounds, Beacons will get possession. Tortora slings things far side. Ganem gets possession. Be nice to see Jim get on the offensive scoring, but he has to get back to his defensive positioning. Holmes now has it, going one-on-one with Wesley. We'll see if Holmes can get back on the scoreboard. He had a beautiful goal back in the third quarter as he was tumbling down on a second chance opportunity. He's more than content, though, to start killing some clock here with the Beacons up by 6 with less than 6 to go. One of those seniors, Anthony Tortora, with possession right now, D'd up by Ryan Geppert, another senior from Dover, New Hampshire. Matten and Tortora play pitch and catch. Tortora with the spin move, gets around. Great no-look feed for Holmes. He scores! Josh Holmes puts the cherry on top as UMass Boston is routing Plymouth State this evening. It's 13-6.
14, Josh Holmes, assisted by number 10, Anthony Tortora.
It seems like a long time ago, folks, but the Beacons trailed 6-5 in the second half. They have scored 8 consecutive goals and appear to be on their way to Keene, New Hampshire on Saturday. They tell me Keene is beautiful this time of year. Can't even keep a straight face. UMass Boston loses the face-off. Taken in and moving forward now with it is Plymouth State. An opportunity for Tetrault, setting up Waterbury, who sails this one high and wide. A little bit too much mustard on that one, and a little bit too little accuracy. Here's Torrentino. Sorrentino has 3 goals already. They all came in the first half. Since then, he's been a mystery man. Waterbury connecting with Gagnon. Cormier takes a shot that sails wide. Possession stays with the Panthers. Cormier now has possession again. 4:25 to go. Beacons up 7. It's been an incredible second half for UMass Boston. And going back to their matchup against Plymouth State last time, second half has been quite kind to the Beacons. Get you that in a second, as Sorrentino trying to find some help or do it all by his lonesome. He almost did, but a good save by Surrett. Gobbled up there by Murphy as he just kicks this one towards Ganem. Jim gets it. And the Beacons will just kill some clock and try to get out of harm's way. Alex Surrett gets possession. The Beacons outscored in Game 1 during the regular season against Plymouth State. The Panthers 8-3 in the second half after they trailed 4-3 going into halftime. Meanwhile, they have outscored those visiting Panthers 8-1 in the second half today. So 16-4 in the second half as Tortora tried to make it 17-4. Missed the mark, and we do get a whistle with 3:26 to go. So one thing's for sure, Plymouth State's got good talent. They've got some great scores, Sorrentino included, but the deeper you get into the game against these Beacons, the harder they have keeping up with them. And the Beacons have shown that yet again this evening. And what a great defensive play by who else? Jack Dillon just swipes it away from Karate, and he's coming the other way. Jack, great feed for Lee. What a no-look backhanded feed. They score! score! Josh Holmes from Calvin Lee by way of Jack Dillon. And the Beacons put a little razzle-dazzle into this victory. They lead it 14-6 with 3:05 to go.
Assisted by number 3, Calvin Lee.
Calvin Lee, boy oh boy, was that beautiful. He gets some high fives from his teammates. You can tell he's got a huge smile on his face because, folks, you won't see anything better than that no-look pass. And some tells me we'll have that on the highlight reel post-game on beaconsathletics.com.
For your Beacons, number 21, Nick Pasalugo.
So we do have a change for UMass Boston. The new netminder is the sophomore Nick Pasalugo, a 6-foot, 180-pound netminder from Barnstable, Massachusetts. So with less than 3 minutes left, look at Alex Surratt enjoy the rest of this one from the bench. Get ready for Saturday's matchup against the toughest team in the region as the Keene State Owls bring their talents into the championship affair against your UMass Boston Beacons. It's all elementary at this point, and Pasalugo gets his first save of the day. So just in case they may need him for any reason against Keene State, good to see that he is warm and ready to go. Tortora sends it forward for Croy Arnold. Croy slings it to his brother Clay. 2:20 to go here in the fourth. The Beacons leading 14-6. They have scored 9 consecutive goals. Here connecting with Conor Smith is Clay Arnold, and Conor is one of the key reasons why the Beacons have this lead. He's been outstanding today. Conor Smith with possession. I'm offended, Julia Murphy, that you do not know how to spell my name after 3 years. I'm kidding. Julia Murphy's doing the producing today for us. A great job. We were, our crew was cutting too, obviously, with the baseball game going on, but she stepped up as we do get a flag on the field here. Stepped up and did, you know, I'm not going to say you did as well as you do on the volleyball court, but you did pretty well. Okay, yeah, that's not SK. UDRIS. Oh, man. If you had spelled it SCH and I had read it like that, I don't even know. I may have actually phonetically spelled it wrong like Ron Burgundy. 52 seconds separate the Beacons from the championship here in the Little East Conference as Sam Matten is doing his best. Catch me if you can. The Beacons on their way to their first ever Little East Conference tournament game. Championship game, I should say. This one comes out of bounds. We're going to get a penalty. And there's still 36 seconds left. And, of course, we get a timeout. Or are they calling the game? It is going to be a slash on
Number 9,
Plymouth State.
Tyler Hawley, 1 minute for a slash.
So that was what the confusion was because I saw Surratt run out towards Pasalugo, and I'm like, why are they bringing Surratt back out there? But 36 and a half seconds left. The Beacons are on their way to their first ever Little East Conference championship game, and it's going to be a tough one. Keene State beat the Beacons 22-3 a couple of weeks ago, so anything better than that I think you could view as a plus. If the Beacons do somehow manage to upset Keene State, what a monumental that achievement that would be, and an opportunity to earn their way further into postseason play. 30 seconds to go as UMass Boston is just half a minute away from a trip to the Little East Conference Championship game against Keene State. Here's Croy Arnold as he will make everything elementary here in the final 15. The Beacons are going to win this one by the final score of 14-6. They led 2-0. They once trailed 6-5. But it was not enough as Plymouth State goes down and the UMass Boston Beacons, for the first time in institutional history, are headed to the Little East Conference Championship game. A date with the Owls on Saturday from Keene, New Hampshire. The final score, your UMass Boston Beacons 14, the Plymouth State Panthers 6. So UMass Boston is one win away from a chance to go to the NCAA tournament as they win this one by the final score of 14-6. I want to thank everyone else involved in the broadcast as UMass Boston wins this one 14-6. As always, our producer Seth Orensky, our director did a great job tonight, Julia Murphy, our cameraman Calvin Smick, and of course myself, John Skudras, on play-by-play. The final score, the UMass Boston Beacons 14, the Plymouth State Panthers 6. They will advance to take on Keene State in the LEC Championship game on Saturday at 1 p.m. Until next time, good night, good luck, and good lacrosse. We'll see you right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.